Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is the TWitWoW Super Show, because we are talking about both Raw and Smackdown Live, which we just got done watching, because WWE, they hit a home run this week. Raw was very entertaining to both of us, and SmackDown, especially the way it ended, Nakamura may be the master of the universe. You know, dude, like, this is going to be a bit off topic just for a second, but I'm gonna bring it full circle, because on my Twitter, which you guys can all follow me at John_TwitWoW and Ashton's at Apon404, we were talking about, like, all of our picks for Money in the Bank, because I'm super fucking stoked for that pay-per-view in June. And we got Dominique Adams being like, oh, Elias. Asia's like, no, Miz. I'm Andrade. And then Jarveris came in with Joe. And it made me realize that Money in the Bank or no Money in the Bank, WWE has a amazing fucking roster right now on both shows. And I think what both Raw and SmackDown illustrated this week was how fucking amazing the content can be when they are utilized effectively. And I feel like that was the key to both of these shows being as great as they were. But, you were really jazzed to do this, so I'm done talking. What did you think about Raw and SmackDown this week?
Yeah, I was even telling you, like, last night into today, I regretted not going live after Raw last night to discuss the show, because I enjoyed a lot of Raw. And even while you and I were playing Rocket League last night, we had some discussions that I wish we would have been able to get live on recording. And now hopefully we'll be able to kind of recapture their thoughts that we were talking about in those discussions we were playing Rocket League. But I just think we both have a lot to say about certain things that are going on Raw. And obviously we just got done with SmackDown, which was entertaining. And I think we both have some things to say about that as well. So I was really excited to be able to talk about Raw and SmackDown. I'm glad that I kind of won you over, because I kind of had to pitch it to you because you were a little apprehensive because of the length, because, Raw being 3+ hours and SmackDown being 2 hours, you didn't want to go live and talk about 5+ hours of content extensively. So we are going to be skipping over some stuff that we just flat out don't care about. Like, Sammy and KO show was cool, but it didn't really lead to anything. And then Zayn and Owens versus Lashley and Strowman was whatever. We don't really have to talk about that. And, like, even tonight, there was some shit that we don't necessarily need to talk about. But the stuff that we do need to talk about, we really want to talk about. And I'm really excited to talk about.
Absolutely. So with that said, this is a TWitWoW, so you guys know how we do it. We do it with heat of the night. Now, combining both shows, which is kind of what I'm envisioning here for this heat of the night, since I did call it the TWitWoW Super Show.
That's right, yeah.
I only have, between the two shows, one really big heat of the night, if I'm honest. That's how well I think both of these shows performed this week. And my only heat of the night, and you were mentioning Rocket League conversations, and this is one, I hate disingenuousness. In business or in life, I hate when somebody is fucking disingenuous. And to me, the most disingenuous moment that WWE had in all their programming this week, in my opinion, was when on Raw, you had the 10-woman tag main event, and the logic they used was, oh, well, the guys got the main event in a big tag last week, so Kurt wants to do the same thing for all the debuting women this week. And, harmless enough, except it's a fucking lie. We know that you use that as a smokescreen to have who main event? Ronda Rousey. And if that was going to be the case, I don't understand why they didn't do, like, a separate segment, because the big thing, not to jump the gun here, but the big thing was, Natalya getting beat down and Ronda makes a save. I don't understand why you can't just have, like, some other kind of a segment where Ronda's going to address the WWE Universe now that Stephanie's on the shelf. Maybe Natalya joins her because they talk about the journey, then, gets interrupted, Natalya ends up whatever. But no, instead, you're going to, like, use these women to masquerade the fact, oh, Ronda's the real main event. It's just, to me, like, if you're going to own it, get Ronda out there, put her at the face of it, and don't try and make it seem like it's something other than what it is. And this is something I've really had a problem with the women's revolution as a whole, but I don't want to prattle on too long. That was just my big heat of the night. I don't know if you have anything you want to say in response to that, but I'm more curious if you have any heats of the night.
No, I actually fully agree with your heat of the night. I signed onto it. I'm 100% behind it. And the idea that not only did they basically use their 10-woman main event as a way to set up a Ronda Rousey angle who wasn't even in the match. So like, you know, you've got these 10 women, and I'd say maybe 8 of them actually worked in the ring, because we know for a fact that Alexa Bliss didn't tag in at any point. And then I think someone else might not have tagged in. I don't know if Nia ever tagged in, but I know she did the ridiculous dive to the outside. And then, so Ronda, without having done any of the work, gets the benefit of everything by cashing in on Natalya getting beaten up. And what is it for? To set up Natalya versus Mickie James, or to set up Ronda versus Mickie James. I'm guessing they're going to be setting that up for Backlash, maybe even. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a bunch of bullshit that they use that 10-woman main event and the idea that we're going to do we're going to give the women the same amount of respect as we're going to give the men. And immediately it's like, no. We're not giving all the women the same respect that we gave all the men. We're giving Ronda Rousey the kind of respect we give men.
And again, like, if you want to do that, fine, because I think you and I and a lot of people in our audience, which, by the way, thank you to everybody that's joined us for this, because I'm really just do this. That's fine, because we've already accepted that's going to happen, right? I just don't understand, why couldn't you just do a segment to main event? Guys, Ronda Rousey addresses the WWE Universe. Now that Stephanie's on the shelf, what's next for Rousey? And maybe she's getting ready to say...
Well, because then they would have gotten accused of sexism for having Ronda be the only woman on the show. So they basically did what they did to fit all of the women onto the show while simultaneously pushing their own agenda.
Right. And I don't know, to me, it really is just an annoyance to me, because, like, we get it. We know Ronda's going to be the face of everything. Just own it. Like, that's really what I'm not, like, just own it, just run with it. So, yeah, that was my big thing. But again, I'm handing the baton to you now. Did you have any heats of the night from either show that you wanted to talk about?
I don't necessarily have a set in stone heat of the night, but I do have what I'm just going to call a Schrodinger's nitpick. Meaning, like, be a nitpick, or it might not be a nitpick depending on what the actual truth is. This is, and really, since I'm doing the Schroeder thing, I might as well just call it a Schrodinger's heat of the night, because really, if it's true, it is a full-blown heat of the night. If it's not true, then, it's just a funny coincidence that WWE is able to take advantage of. But you might know what I'm getting at here. Vince McMahon now needs to stoop to the point of planting pro-Roman Reigns fans in the front row and having the camera zoom in on them and mic them up so that it seems like the crowd is pro-Roman.
If this is true, this is a really bad look for WWE, because I'm already against fan signs being taken away, right? And we know that WWE has done that. I'm not saying they do it every show, but it's a bit more of a common thing than I would like. But if they're going this far, and here's the thing too, the only reason we're even entertaining it is, given the temperament of Vince, it is entirely possible. Because this is a guy, and I know you said when Shawn and Brett, was the big main event at that year's WrestleMania, I'd rather have an arena half full of people that, agree with my vision and want what I want, than an arena full of people that go against what I want. So the idea that he would mic people up and have plants that support his agenda, that support his vision of Roman Reigns is our guy, I could buy into it. I mean, it sounds ludicrous.
But the thing is, like, here's what's not confirmed. What's not confirmed is that those fans were plants. What is confirmed, though, is that the WWE lowered the volume of the crowd's mic and had that specific portion of the crowd mic'd up. And if you don't believe me, you can get proof by literally just watching and listening at the same time. You can hear very clear Roman or Roman Reigns or whatever the chants were going on. And yet, unless the camera is zoomed in on that one specific little section of like 6 to 10 fans, nobody's doing anything. They're all just sitting on their hands. So it's either piped in, or they only had that section of the crowd mic'd up, or a combination of the two. And then the idea of that part, those few people being plants, is what's kind of up in the air. And that's what the major heat of the night would be. But even if they weren't plants, I would still have a nitpick on WWE going so fucking far out of their way to manipulate the perception of Roman Reigns to go to the extent of lowering the crowd mic, miking up this one specific portion of the crowd that they know is pro-Roman, and using like piped in cheers for Roman.
And see, here's what angers me about that. It's like, by you doing all of this, you acknowledge that the problem exists, right? Yeah. You're just doing everything in your power not to solve it. And like, that's what's infuriating to me, because if I'm manipulating crowd noise, if I'm manipulating crowd reaction, then I'm acknowledging, just by my getting involved and my exerting my will upon it, that the reaction isn't what I want it to be or what I anticipated.
Exactly.
So if I'm making this acknowledgement, right, why aren't I then expending my energy and making the appropriate expenditures to resolve the problem in a way that's agreeable to everybody and doesn't make me look worse? Because like this looks so bad, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
it really does. It looks Bush League, really. Like, this is if this is Vince McMahon's idea of the next evolution of sports entertainment, where not only is he manipulating what people say, how people look, how people wrestle, what they do, but also how the crowd reacts, I think that's like the most disingenuous thing possible, since you were talking about that earlier.
Well, I mean, you know, this is heat of the night, right? So any negative thing we're feeling, we purge it in this space. And I'm just going to call it like I see it. What this is to me is a man having a temper tantrum with the money to back it up. That's all this is. It's a temper tantrum that's going big because you have the dollar to do it. And you know, the idea that we're coming here rather than saying, you know what, guys, it's not working, but Seth's working, Finn's working, Strowman's working. Guys, you know what? Let's make Roman the heel. And let's like build all these faces.
I'm honestly at the point that my last hope for a Roman heel turn is that Vince really does buy into Drew as the guy that could be the next big face, and they do like a double switch with those guys. That's like my last Roman heel turn.
You know, they keep doing these things with Roman at a WrestleMania. You know, he lost to Brock, bloodied up. You know, this year, last year he retired. The Undertaker, all this stuff. I would love, and we're going to get to Drew, and I think Drew's going to be one of our biggest talking points the entire commentary. Yeah. But I would love for Mania 35. You want to keep doing big things with Roman at WrestleMania? Double fucking turn at Mania.
Yeah.
Drew becomes the face. Roman becomes the heel. I would fucking love that.
Even if, then the thing is, like, even if Roman wins that match, if he does so through the double turn, like the way Bret Hart beat Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13, I'm so okay with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's just like you said, it's not a matter of wins and losses. It's, okay, what are the directions of these characters? What is the trajectory? And if we can get Roman on a better trajectory, really, literally the whole product becomes better, because the product is centered around Roman. So I don't even think it's hyperbole to say that. Like, when he is your guy and you're coordinating all your resources and your efforts to make this one guy work, if you reorient that one guy, then by extension, you're reorienting the company, and it gets better. So yeah, I completely agree. If this is true, that is a huge indictment on WWE's just, I mean, I wouldn't even say their ignorance, because they're aware. That's the very antithesis of ignorance.
Yeah.
They're aware of the problem. They just don't care to fix it. And that's
it's not ignorance, it's negligence.
Exactly. It's negligence. So with that said, do you have anything else you want to air out before we get to the good shit?
That is it. And this is the beautiful thing, guys. John and I just had a Heat of the Night segment covering both all 3 hours of Raw and all 2 hours of SmackDown. And we only had 2 Heats of the Night combined. And now everything else is probably just going to be all positive, all good stuff.
Absolutely. So now let us get right into our, Raw and SmackDown. Really, I'll call them talking points, because you even said we are trimming some of the fat. So our talking points for the TWitWoW Super Show. What's our first big talking point you want to address, partner?
Elias over Bobby Roode. We finally got Elias getting this main event push. They even said on commentary, Elias is a main event player. They blatantly, like, Booker T said something to the effect of, I think he can be a main eventer. And then Corey Graves is just like, no, he is a main eventer. Elias beat Bobby Roode in Bobby Roode's first match, which is also a big deal, because usually when people switch brands, they win on their first night. And it also could be the first domino in a Bobby Roode heel turn.
Yes, there is so much good about this, but partner, you know what? I do feel like between the two of us, and you know I love Elias, like I'm rooting for him. I've been saying for the longest time, I want mid-card gold around his waist, if not more now after this endorsement. But I do feel like you have always been like so big on Elias, so I want you to go first about all the thoughts running through your head with this.
All right. So, first of all, I love that Elias is considered by WWE to be a main eventer, even if I'm guessing the term main eventer is probably a much more watered down version in the WWE's eyes of what it should actually be, because you know how they are, where, oh, this Mania show has 4 main events, this pay-per-view has 2 main events, this one has 3. Like, so their idea of what constitutes a main event is a little bit more fluid than I think you or I. But even still, the idea that they mention him in that same breath as that main event category, they put him in that category, I think that's huge. And I also think that Bobby Roode losing is a really good sign, not necessarily because I hate Bobby Roode, because, you know, I frankly don't even really care about him that much. But I think that's the problem, is that I don't care. I should care about Bobby Roode because Bobby Roode is a talented performer. He was very much a compelling heel champion in NXT. I don't care about him now because I don't really have any reason to care about him now, because he's not compelling right now in my eyes. So you not only do you put over Elias, who I think really does deserve some rub at this point, like I feel like he's been done dirty long enough, but also the loss for Roode could spell heel turn, which is exactly what that character needs, in my opinion, to become compelling again.
It is amazing to me what WWE can do with self-awareness, which is why I'm still pulling for them to have it with some, you know, and they do have it. We just got done saying they do have it. Just use it properly is really what I should say with Roman Reigns, because what I mean with self-awareness here, Roode as a face draws flies, and even that's being generous to me. Elias has consistently, even when he insults the town that he's in, gets strong reactions. People are buying into this dude. They love this dude. He has the momentum. So him winning, which, by the way, you know, I think this is me forcing a parallel, to be fair, and I will readily admit that, but it's about time WWE caught up to Lucha Underground. Not every guy that switches or is doing whatever has to win their debut match. Losing can be just as compelling, because now what I'm really hoping for, and I do think it'll happen, because I did tell you this when we were playing Rocket League, talking about those Rocket League conversations, if Roman is on the verge of becoming Universal Champion, since we're not even touching Greatest Royal Rumble, I can openly say I do think Roman's going to beat Brock.
I mean, this show it might as well be a de facto Greatest Royal Rumble preview and predictions too, because we're going to talk about pretty much everything important that actually has meaning that's going to be happening at the Greatest Royal Rumble. So if you want to make your predictions, you can just go for it. You don't have to hold back or anything. Just go right ahead.
Yeah, I fully expect Roman to beat Brock, because it kind of feeds into a vision I'm having for Backlash, but that we will hold off on, because Backlash we will be covering. But you know, with Roman being the champion, they're going to need as many heels as possible to keep the reign sustained. And I could totally see Bobby Roode being one of those heels, because you're right. I mean, he was that in NXT. He beat Nakamura for the NXT championship. So I think WWE could envision a Roode Reigns program, even when I shudder at the fucking thought. But speaking about guys and programs, again, it's like I said at the top of the show before I handed it over to you to give your overall thoughts. We have a WWE class right now on Raw and SmackDown that's so impressive. And Elias is a key piece of that. Like, I just want Dominique Adams and Asia to know, for as much as I like joke around with them, I love Miz. I love Elias. These guys are talented as hell. And Elias, keeping the focus on him, because we'll get to Miz in a little bit. You know, the idea that he beat Roode, I thought absolutely 10 million % was the right call, because he needs momentum. He deserves momentum. And guys like him, I'm so excited about what the summer has in store for him. And I definitely think he's going to be wearing championship gold before the end of this year, hopefully, and becoming an even more prominent part of the show, even though I already feel like he is a pretty big part on Monday Night Raw, if I'm truthful. And Roode, with this loss, I hope it is the catalyst to him turning heel. I'm sick and tired of him cutting promos of, oh, well, you know, golly gee, I'll get him next time. I guess I really wasn't prepared for him. No, like, to me, and I use the word, I guess that's going to be my word of the day, disingenuous. I can't buy Roode as a face, because I've seen his work as a heel, and I think he speaks with more conviction. I think he believes it more as a character. I think he's a Del Rio type where he really does prefer working the bad guy, and he prefers it so much that when he tries to go face, it is so cringe and so awkward. And, I do hope he turns heel because I think you could get a lot more mileage out of him that way. And great for Elias getting the win because it was the right fucking call. And again, when WWE makes the right fucking call, it's amazing how great their program can be. So that's all I'm going to say about that before we move on to our next talking point here.
All right. Well, I mean, I said my piece. Now you've said yours. So our next talking point is just a really quick overview of the Sammy and Kevin show with Kurt Angle. Really, this was just really felt more like it was to set up tension between these two. And by these two, I mean one being the team of Sammy and KO and the other being Angle. But also, I just love the 6 kids gag that I just wanted to point out how much I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. That 6 kids gag was on point. I love Sammy and Kevin as a team. I love that it's still going because honestly, I thought it was going to dissolve towards the tail end of their SmackDown run, and I'm glad it's still together because these are guys where you can put them in the tag title hunt. You can have one of them go after Roman Reigns and another one go after a mid-card guy, and you can flip the script either way while the one is supporting the other. Like, these guys as a team is great, and then when they dissolve again with everybody, presuming that Sammy's going to go babyface, which, you never know. But, like, if that would happen, then it feels fresh again because, wow, they did this stuff as a team, and now they'll have to have dissolved for a completely different reason. So I'm totally digging that they're still together, and I agree. Sammy and Kevin show, nice first outing, but nothing too special. And then, Angle makes the tag match, which do we even have on our talking points to talk about later, or was that some of the fat that we trimmed?
Yeah, that was some of the fat that we trimmed just because I don't think anything really came out of it.
No, I didn't. I mean, Sammy and Kevin did lose that match, so I was kind of disappointed by it because I really wanted them to make an impact early. But at the same time, I am happy to see that Strowman's still a priority to a degree. So with that said, what do we got next?
Well, up next, we had the whole situation with Chris Axel and Bo Dallas trying to find a new group. They approached Finn Balor and Seth Rollins hoping to recreate the Shield or recreate the club, and both got turned down. And then we did get a tag match, but it doesn't really freaking matter. Obviously, Seth and Finn won. But the thing I wanted to talk about with you was Bray Wyatt tweeted something at Bo and Axel about coming and joining him. I'm curious, what do you think? Is that actually going to lead to something on WWE television, or do you think that's just a social media thing?
I didn't see that tweet. In fact, you know what? While you're talking, let me pull that up real quick.
Because I think it would be really interesting to see Bo teamed up with his brother. And really, the more people we get into the Woken universe, I think that could make for some really interesting stuff. So I'm definitely interested in seeing it. I just wanted to get your opinion on whether it was actually going to be a real thing or if it was just like Twitter teasing. Like,
I think WWE, or I really shouldn't even say WWE, I think some of their performers have really learned how to use social media. I love Ciampa's media, Bray doing a great tweet there. I don't think he would tweet it out into the universe when WWE has that all-seeing eye, unless they had plans for it. I know Bray has spoken about in the past that he would love to work with Bo, given the familial relation and everything, and them being in the same faction, I think it'd be really cool. I think for Axel and Dallas, I was even thinking about it the other day because there was that video that WWE put on their YouTube, like me, all the NXT champions. And it just made me think of Bo's NXT reign. And I'm like, man, he is such a good heel. Like he's an underrated performer to me, legitimately, as Bo Dallas. And I'm like, he could do so much more than this. And Axel, I think, has a little bit to give himself, especially when he's allowed to be colorful. I mean, Axel Mania, never forget. So if these guys are going to be a part of the Woken universe, fine, but just give him something to do. Like, that was one thing that kind of depressed me about the whole Miz Taraj run, is I get that it was about the Miz, and Miz killed it, but you never saw Bo and Axel go after the tag titles. You never saw dissension with one of them saying, you know what, Miz, I want a shot at your Intercontinental title. Do something with it. I mean, these guys are here. They're ready to work. Like, give them something. So I'd be open with it. I do think it's going to happen. I just hope that they get some mileage out of these guys is where I'm coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So hopefully that does end up actually turning out to happen or something of the like. But now we get to one of the talking points that I was most excited to have with you, because I am just going chronologically through Raw and picking out the stuff that I know we wanted to talk about. Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre beat Titus Worldwide. Drew has an updated theme song with war drums in it, for Christ's sake. And then, holy shit, Drew McIntyre dropped his goddamn version of a pipe bomb on Raw.
Yeah, brother, I have so much to say about this, but I want you to go first. Give your full thoughts.
I mean, you know, dude, I've been saying Drew McIntyre needs to be the face of this company at some point, and I've been saying it for a while now. I've really, I feel like since he cut his first promo as NXT champion, I feel like it's since I've been saying this, and that I haven't wavered. And really, I'm just getting more and more and more ingrained in that stance because Drew has everything. Drew is everything. And like Javaris just said in chat, Drew deserves everything. Drew is huge. He's got the look. He's got the work rate. He's got the promo chops. There is nothing wrong with this guy. And the crazy thing is he can even tone down his Scottish accent to sound more American. Kevin Dunn, eat your heart out. Holy shit. Drew McIntyre is the face of the company as far as I'm concerned. And right now it's just uncrowned, but that's what he's going to be. So Drew McIntyre cut an amazing promo talking about how everyone in the back is complacent. And he said that the locker room's gone soft and that he might not be what the WWE wants right now, but he is the reality check that it so desperately needs. And then Ziggler even seems to be rejuvenated and more interested in actually working. And he said about, you know, we're not interested in stealing the show because we are the show. And then he did this cool little like microphone pop out of his hand that I feel like is something that Dean Ambrose would usually freaking do. And Ziggler feels rejuvenated and McIntyre is incredible. And I think that they're just going to be known as a tag team as the show, which I do love. So all the happiness, all the positivity. Drew is amazing. Dolph looks much better and he's more compelling when he actually has interesting things to say other than I want to steal the show. And I honestly don't even know what else I can say. So I'm just going to pass the ball right back to you, brother.
I appreciate it, brother, because I have quite a bit to say here. First and foremost, I want everybody to watch what's about to happen for the next several months or however long very closely, because what you're about to witness is exactly what we've been calling for them to do with Roman Reigns forever.
Yeah.
They are getting the Drew McIntyre heel run out of the way on the main roster, which I love because he was a babyface in NXT. But the main roster, they know, like, get that heel run out and then give the crowd a reason to pop. Drew looks fucking great. Dude's a fucking beast, okay? Like, dude is an animal. And can I just say, and like, I was a bit tentative about this because I know how our audience feels, but you know what, dude? You and I have always had different opinions. Some people agree with us, some not, and that's great. That's why I love doing this with you. That's why I love TWitWoW. I like Dolph Ziggler again. I'm sorry. I dig these dudes. Like, Ziggler looks like he gives a shit. I watched that promo, and not even just the promo. I watched them working together 10 times today alone. And I didn't even know we were doing this, guys. I just want to put that in context. I did it for me. I didn't do it for this because I didn't know whether or not we were doing this today. I did it because I love these guys together. That inverted Alabama slam with the Ziggler super kick that preceding it, amazing. Already synergy. And then, my God, that clay zag, as I saw some people calling it online, that Claymore kick in the zigzag, unreal. I love it. And he's yelling at Apollo Crews, look at me, look at me. And, you know, he hits it. And Ziggler, I mean, you used the perfect word, dude. Rejuvenated. He sounds like he gives a shit. This is the Dolph Ziggler that I loved when he was, you know, stealing the show and selling everything. And, you know, I'm going to be Monday Night Raw. And what I love, see, this is the benefit of when you've got two singles guys as a tag team. And I hope WWE does this. I don't know if they'll do it, but I hope they do it. Because I saw Smackdown in part kind of do this with Sammy and KO. If you want to put them in the tag scene, great. But I also want to see singles ambitions. Because it really does seem like Drew is going to be Dolph's heavy. Because Dolph even used the language, I've got this guy watching my back. And I would love if we saw, and I'm not kidding, like, I want to see this Dolph Ziggler with that Drew McIntyre go against Roman Reigns. And then when Dolph fails, you get the teaser of Drew versus Roman down the line. Yeah. And that match happens at a WrestleMania and not a moment sooner. These guys already, and this is a show that they are sharing with Seth Rollins, I was about to say Finn Rollins, and Finn Balor, and other really talented guys. These guys are already the highlight of the show for me. Oh, and Strowman, who I used to say forever was the highlight of every Raw. I think that crown has finally been taken. These guys are what I'm looking out for every Monday night now. And it just clicked for me when I watched it for probably like the 9th time. I'm like, oh my God, I'm really into these guys. And again, I say these guys because Dolph, I actually give a shit about him again.
Yeah, that's the thing. And dude, you say you've watched it like 9 or 10 times, but just for a little bit more context, you are the rewatcher between the two of us. If something happens that you love, you are the type to find it on YouTube and rewatch it a bunch of times. And you don't really know me as that type, right?
Right.
I've rewatched this segment and this promo 4 times.
Damn, dude. That's awesome.
I don't do that ever. Like, it takes something special to get me to go on YouTube to find a wrestling segment and rewatch it. And I have watched this exact segment 4 times now. That's how good it is.
Yeah. Dude, it's so fucking awesome. And again, like, I don't know if there was another shakeup in that fucking writer's room or what, but Drew's promo was fire. And I love, too, that this guy is a heel, but he's not even like, I don't even know how to articulate this. Like, he's not even necessarily a dick. I think
he's not a douchebag. He's not a douchebag. He's just more ambitious than everyone else, and he like owns it.
Yeah, and I love it. Like, to me, everybody else could say heel. I say fucking babyface that I aspire to be. Like, he's just like, oh, I see no fire, no ambition. All I see is people collecting checks, which, I mean, hell, if you wanted to, like Dolph did the whole millennials thing, which, by the way, I think is more truth than not, because I go on his Twitter, and apparently he's made appearances on Fox and Friends and shit. So I wonder if that's more like real life Dolph kind of blended in with the character. But yeah, these guys all about, like, down with people who are entitled and this and that, and we're going to take it. And I'm like, you know what? When you look like Drew does, and I loved what Triple H tweeted. I don't know if you saw Triple H's tweet. Like, I guess he met McIntyre backstage and shook his hand with the main roster debut. He said he's not chosen this time. This time he wants to take it. And I love that. Like, this is a completely new Drew McIntyre. We talk about maturation. Him going away from WWE and doing everything that he did, you know, PWG and TNA and all those places, was the best thing he could have done for himself, because he's never been better. He looks significantly better than he did his first run. He spits fire. Face, heel, it doesn't matter. The microphone is his. And notice, you, me, and everybody in chat is just jazzed about McIntyre, and he has the look that Vince wants, like, home run. Home fucking run. You just have to take it. And I do think they'll take it. I'm not going to be that pessimistic. When they take it, I think is more a matter for debate. But right now, I'm loving what these guys are doing. And yeah, this was the highlight of Raw for me easily. Like, I fucking love this, dude. This was great. Great stuff.
Yeah, like, this is, like, you say home run, but the thing is, hitting a home run requires effort. You have to be coordinated and kind of strong to hit a home run. This, like, Drew McIntyre is the equivalent of, like, basically hitting a bunt and then being able to round the bases because the other team keeps fucking up. Like, that's a layup. And, like, if we're talking sports, he's a layup. That's what Drew McIntyre is. He's so easy. All you have to do with Drew is not fuck him up. And I genuinely think WWE might manage to not fuck this one up.
Yeah, I really hope they can execute it, because literally all it is grab your pencil, take the program, ensure that he's on the show, and then he'll do the fucking rest, because he's that talented. And yeah, I'm excited for what both of these guys are going to do. And then I'll tell you what, I could even get into a Drew Ziggler feud when this tandem dissolves, because I just think about Dolph selling a Claymore kick to the face, and seems like a great fucking payoff. So yeah, I'm really excited for what this guy's going to do, but I'm ready for the next talking point, because I just got the biggest smile on my face.
All right, man. Well, our next talking point is actually something else that's going to put a smile on your face, because Chad Gable defeated Jinder Mahal clean.
Oh, dude, yes. You go first on this. You go first on this. What did you think about this?
Dude, this was definitely that match where like we had already gotten Elias beating Bobby Roode and then Dolphin Drew beating Titus Worldwide. And I was just like, okay, well, this is where it comes back to earth. This is where Jinder gets the fucking, Sunil Singh distraction into the Colossus victory over Chad Gable. And Gable puts up a strong fight, but blah, 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 blah. But no, Gable just beat him. Gable reversed the Colossus. Jinder had basically the Cobra Clutch, which is what he uses to set up the Colossus, locked in like he was going to do the Colossus, and Gable like stair stepped up the turnbuckles, backflipped, and Jinder never let go of that Cobra Clutch. So then Gable just used his leverage to keep Jinder's shoulders pinned to the mat for 3 seconds. So Gable won. Fluky maybe, but I think it's still awesome that they gave Gable the win here. And I also have in my notes here that I want us to get into a little bit of a mid-card title discussion because like we have been talking about, the greatest Royal Rumble is on Friday. We do have an Intercontinental Championship 4-way, I think, ladder match. It's Miz, Rollins, Balor, and Joe. And we have Mahal versus Jeff Hardy for the U.S. Championship. So really, we have guys on both brands with the potential to win either mid-card belt. I'm curious, though, John. First of all, I want you to talk about Gable getting the big win over Mahal. But second of all, who you think is going to walk out of the greatest Royal Rumble with the mid-card titles?
Excellent questions all around, brother. I thank you. Just to start, so happy for Gable because, dude, and you can vouch for me on this. How many times did I say that we need to get behind Scratch and Claw as a mantra and push the shit out of it with Gable as a babyface? Like,
and he actually did say, I want to Scratch and Claw to Kurt Angle. So that is canon now.
Yeah. Yeah. And WWE is making the right moves. Like, you got Scratch and Claw. And now I don't think WWE will go this far because he is a mid-card guy and I have to be realistic. And I just want to say that to preface my next statement. But I've seen the videos that Gable has shot for himself, like him working out and everything. I would love if Gable isn't going to be on a show, because even with a 3-hour show, I know WWE has priorities. If you want to keep the Gable in the crowd's mind, play these videos on television. Say, oh, we don't have Gable this week, but this is a look at Chad Gable. And you show a video of his training regimen. You show a video of Dan Gable, the famous wrestler who I know Chad's friends with, talking about Chad Gable. Show his roots. Make the connection. Show him at home with his baby girl. Just like they would in NXT. Like, keep him in the public consciousness, even when you're not going to have him on the show. And the only reason I say that is because he is a lower card guy. I'm fully anticipating episodes where he's just not on the show. Now, I would love to be proven wrong and he elevates his stock and he becomes a more prominent part, but I'm not holding my breath right now. It's one win, and it's a great win. I want to get to that in a second, too. But, I just want to keep them, have them keep Gable in the crowd's mind. Now, as far as the win, I have to give credit to Kyle Thal as his own wrestling podcast, Story of Wrestling, with Alistair Wilkins, which I know you and I listen to. I don't want to take credit for this talking point because this was all him. But he tweeted, and I totally agreed with it, this was the most proper use of Jinder. All the heat that you acquired during your WWE Championship run, you use that now with Jinder by having him put over mid-card baby faces, so you have a solid mid-card to play with, and maybe even some guys can elevate to upper mid-card main event status. This is how you use Jinder. This is what I can get behind. If he's going to look the way that he looks, and he's going to get wins because he's not done winning, and that'll be to answer your next question, because I do expect him to beat Jeff Hardy. But, he's not going to be done winning. Anytime he gets a win, anytime he gets those boosts, you make sure that a worthwhile mid-card babyface like a Gable gets that rub. And that's the best part of it. Because I, like you, wasn't expecting Gable to win. But the idea that WWE on the same show kept the momentum with Elias and gave momentum to Gable because they're serious about him as a singles competitor, it just makes me say, my God, this company, it does know how to make the right moves. They've proven it. And, I just hope that, with Jinder, again, I am picking him to beat Hardy. And, I won't get into Backlash, but you can assume where I'm going with Backlash, with Miz getting his rematch there. So then the brands will kind of, swap titles. Like Raw will have the U.S. title. SmackDown will have the IC title. But, I would love a Gable Mahal feud for the United States Championship. I'm not necessarily expecting Gable to go over, but if he would, I mean, that's fucking perfect because the dude was an Olympian. And I will say this, if we would have the upset again and Gable becomes U.S. champion, please let this guy do the open challenge. Please. Because I want him to work with everybody in that mid-card.
That'd be sick. But you did officially predict, though. Oh, yeah, you did. You officially predicted Jinder gets the U.S. title. So, yeah, Jinder versus Gable seems inevitable if that does happen. So, dude, that would be incredible. If Jinder would, even if it took like 2 or 3 matches for Gable to take the title off of him, if Gable was then able to start doing the U.S. Open Challenge, that would be incredible.
I mean, it would give him a consistent spot on TV every week, which by extension means the U.S. title has a consistent spot on TV every week. And again, he gets to just coalesce with the rest of the mid-card, build people. And then how I would bookend it, and this is pure fantasy booking territory, so warning for everybody. Jason Jordan answers to the shock of Gable. Jason Jordan wins his first singles title at the expense of Gable. And you have him feud.
Brilliant.
There you go. That's how you make Chad Gable relevant. And if Chad Gable gets the fanfare that I'm hoping he will in that time, which, by the way, WWE, the key to that, too, is you give the guy the mic more because he does have a personality, and I want him to have a chance to show it. If not Jason Jordan, the next guy I would love to see step up and beat Chad Gable, honestly, well, Elias, but then coming in third, Mike Kanellis, because Mike Kanellis had a backstage promo that was fucking great, too, in the shakeup. And I'd like to see him more, too. I know you can't get everybody. Even on a 3-hour show, you can't get everybody. There are priorities, and then there are guys and girls that aren't priorities. But, yeah, I'm really hoping the bookend here is Jason Jordan beats Chad Gable for his first big singles championship, and we have a nice mid-card feud for that U.S. title. So, anything else you want to say about it, man?
No, nothing else that I want to add. It's just really exciting, and I hope that it actually leads to something, and it's not just like a one-off, oh, Chad beat Jinder, next week Jinder beats Chad, and we're back to square one. So, up next, we get to talk about No Way Jose and Baron Corbin refusing to have a match with him because of the conga line.
Yeah, Baron, I mean, everybody break out your tinfoil hats, because Baron believes there's a conspiracy. And yeah, the conspiracy here for Baron is you got this conga line. How I know they're not going to jump me when I'm getting ready to do my thing with you in this match. So you and me tonight, I say, no way, Jose. Like, Baron was so proud of himself for that. And honestly, it made me love him even more. I'm like, oh, Baron, you look as imposing as you do, and even you can still be a ham. Like, goddamn. What did you think about this interaction between these two?
I was a little bit confused by it, but the thing that I really wanted to highlight that I appreciate is that Jose immediately has an angle. Like, I was worried that Jose was going to just have random, oh, he shows up, he does his dance, he beats a jobber every week kind of thing. That's what I expected. So I'm glad that they're immediately putting him not just into an angle, but into an angle with a guy in Baron Corbin fresh off of a main event run, challenging for the WWE title over on Smackdown. So even though, yeah, obviously Corbin might be getting relegated a little bit on Raw, he does still have that credibility. He's a former Mr. Money in the Bank. He was just challenging for the WWE title as recently as, I believe, Fastlane? It was Fastlane, right?
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
And No Way Jose immediately getting into a feud with him, I think that does great things for Jose. And I'm hoping that these guys can have at least 1 or 2 solid matches, if not good matches. Because, I mean, we both know Corbin can work pretty well. Jose, when he's motivated and in shape, can put on entertaining matches. So, it's definitely going to be a clash of styles, but I'm curious to see how they handle it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's cool as well that No Way Jose has already got a program. It's funny because Corbin's been growing on me again. I love the look, even with the receding hairline. I think End of Days is one of the best finishers in WWE right now, just my opinion, and all that stuff. I don't know what his limit is on Raw, if I'm honest, since it's the Roman Reigns show mid-card. No Way Jose, though, honestly, he's more of a question mark to me because I'm, again, just going to be truthful. The No Way Jose gimmick has already kind of worn off for me. I feel like it was a more of a Full Sail gimmick. But like the dude clearly has personality, and the dude clearly has a look. To me, if I'm being truthful, I would classify No Way Jose as more of an Xavier Woods type, where it's like you've got everything, you just don't necessarily have the gimmick to put it all together yet. Because I personally don't believe that the No Way Jose gimmick is that gimmick for him yet. So I think Baron will probably go farther than him after this feud. But I'll tell you what, if No Way Jose would ever decide to drop that and like evolve and become something else, then I think we could really come back to the table and revisit this discussion, because I still see money in this dude. I just don't think you're printing a lot of it in his current form right now. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah. All right. So next up, let's talk about a moment of bliss, John.
Oh my God. Asia, I love you. I really do. I love that we're on the same page and you're wonderful and incredible. And I know you hate Bliss. I love this. I'm sorry, Asia. I love this. I thought this was hilarious. But before I get into why I thought it was hilarious, I always do love to hand the ball over to you, Ashton. So please do go first.
Dude, what was hilarious about this was that when Alexa when she first showed up on my screen and started talking about bullying, I was like, no fucking way. Are they seriously going to have a legit anti-bullying campaign a la, Be a Star with Alexa Bliss of all people at the forefront? And then it clicked for me that she was doing like heel work and that it wasn't an actual PSA. And as soon as I realized it, I fucking loved it. It was hilarious. Alexa Bliss being this shitty, bitchy heel who thinks she's the victim, who, while trying to make herself out to be the victim, simultaneously makes fun of somebody else. Like, first of all, I don't give all of the credit to Alexa Bliss because, yeah, she did a great job with delivering this, but the delivery was only part of it. The concept, to me, is really cool and new and fresh. And I love this idea of having this heel female character do this fake ass, insincere PSA talking about, don't bully. I've witnessed bullying firsthand and I did nothing and all that shit. And like Alexa Bliss's delivery just put it over the top to me. So to me, like the idea is a 10 out of 10 and Alexa Bliss's delivery and her ability to execute the idea pushed it over the top to a freaking 11 out of 10. This was amazing.
I mean, brother, first of all, excellent catch by you, delineating between, Bliss's delivery and the overall concept, because I wouldn't have even framed it in those terms. So I really like that you brought that to the table. Why I think this works so much for me, and I don't even know the language to put it, so I'm just going to be blunt with it. This is just peak Bliss to me, because you think about her background, right? She's this gymnast, she's this athlete, and she looks the way that she does. And, she really is like that high town kind of white girl. Like, I do all the expensive things. Like I have a certain standard of living, so to speak. So when she says the words, I saw this starving old woman and I wanted to give her the rest of my burrito bowl. Like, when you think about who Bliss is, and again, like I know she's been through like real struggles and stuff, and I'm so proud of Bliss for overcoming that, and she seems like a genuinely sweet person, and et cetera, but she was an athlete and she did come from that side of the world. So when she says stuff like this, I'm like, yeah, seems legit. Like she seems like those caricature villain cheerleaders in those movies where like the cheer competitions are happening and it's like, oh, we hate you, or oh, we don't really want you on our squad, but in the best possible way though. Like I love this. Call it a guilty pleasure. I don't give a shit. I'm guilty as fucking charged. I think this is some of the best stuff they've done with Bliss in a while. And I think it comes back to what you were saying. The concept was a hole in one. They nailed it. And honestly, Bliss is the only reason that I could be even remotely interested in WWE doing this again with Nia versus Bliss. And do I think she's been overexposed? Absolutely. Do I think they should tone down her spot? Absolutely. But do I think when Bliss is in her pocket doing what she can, like that she's genuinely talented, especially as a talker? Yeah. Yeah, and I will go to bat for her on that. I've always been very honest about that. So I'm glad you had my back on this. Because, dude, I was chuckling to this. I'm like, oh my god, yes! Like, this
Yeah,
is so good.
I enjoyed the hell out of this segment, and really, we wouldn't have even talked about it if we didn't enjoy it as much as we did. So yeah, Alexa just being this smarmy, smug bitch, and continuing again to make fun of Nia for being fat, talking about, oh, and she just gobbled it all up right in front of this homeless woman. I'm sorry, I can't even finish saying it without laughing. God damn it.
No, I mean, Alex Foster articulated for me perfectly. Burrito Bowl is the most white person thing. That's why I loved it. Like, it just, when you consider Alexa's like corner of the world, that, again, like I said, peak bliss. So good. They captured the tone of it perfectly. That's the word, tone. The tone was so strong throughout. So, yeah, that's all I want to say about this. We can move on if you want, but my God, I love this.
And I also just wanted to add, like, you talk about Alexa needing to be toned down, and I don't think she really has much of a choice with Ronda being a thing now.
Yeah, that is true. So see that even there's a positive even for Ronda running shit. So there you go.
We might as well not even call her Ronda Rousey anymore. She's Ronda the Relegator. She's just going to relegate all the other women to irrelevance unless they're working directly with her, which I wouldn't be surprised if Bliss eventually does.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Ronda the Relegator. So that's probably our most controversial opinion Monday Night Raw, is that we fucking loved the moment with Bliss, or moment of Bliss, I guess it was, when a lot of people, especially in our kind of corner of the internet, seem to really despise it because they just, apparently we attract Bliss haters. I don't know. But really the main event women's tag match, we already kind of talked about what that was set up for. The only other thing I wanted to say was that prior to the match, we got kind of a pep talk. Ember Moon really did a really good job of kind of cutting like a fire up the team kind of promo with the babyface team. And I just wanted to acknowledge that I thought that was some of her best mic work ever. And it's on the main roster. And it's just crazy to me that she pulls it off now when she was just barely starting to get good at the end of her NXT run. But yeah, man, if you don't have anything else left to say about like the Natalya Ronda shit, or like the big, angle seemingly looking like it's going to end up being Ronda versus Mickey, I don't know when, we can move on to SmackDown Live.
Oh, dude, let's move on to SmackDown Live, because now shit's really cooking here. So
yeah, so we start SmackDown Live with Miz TV, and the Miz is amazing, and he started cutting this promo about how when he first saw Monroe Sky and he looked her in the eyes, he had this, and he saw the purity and the innocence. He had this moment of realization, and he's turned over a new leaf, and he's a new man, and he's surprised that Daniel Bryan didn't experience that same thing when he first saw Birdie Joe. And then he threw this little jab of, I guess he just doesn't have the same bond with Birdie Joe that I have with Monroe Sky. So this is just such a piece of shit, but it's so good. And then, Miz continues talking about, and then he even goes to the point of being like, trying to be like a martyr now. Like, all right, Daniel Bryan, well, if you want to punch me in the face, then come on out and do it. Come on, come out, punch me in the face. And he's waiting, and Bryan never comes out. So before we get to the actual person that does come out, do you have anything to say about the Miz's promo?
Dude, Miz is so good. Oh my God. Like, I don't want to jump the gun because we are going to talk about what you were ready to talk about before you hand the ball to me. But like, how does Vince no longer needs a Cialis to me for some of the acts that are really coming together that I know he would love. And like Miz, I just keep thinking back to Stephanie saying, the problem with you, Miz, was you peaked too early. Has this man the last few years found his second fucking life or what? Like, I love how smarmy this dude is. And I love how he says in the most roundabout way, I guess you don't love your daughter as much as I love mine, Daniel. That's a shame. Like, he is such an asshole that he would stoop that low. His delivery is on point. I still think even with the Usos coming up, Joe being great, all these guys and women being great, because I do think Sasha can be a great talker. I enjoyed Bliss's delivery on the one thing. Becky's fire. I still think Miz is one of the best talkers in the company, period. And yeah, dude, he killed this. He absolutely fucking slayed this. And I loved it, man. I loved it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Miz, and the thing is, it's not just, oh, Miz is a good talker. Miz carried the first like 10 minutes of SmackDown by himself. That's something that we've seen Alexa Bliss do. That's something that we've seen Carmella do now. That's something that is praiseworthy. Even if you're not personally a fan of an individual, if they can really carry a solo talking segment and have the crowd not completely lose interest and start chanting like CM Punk or some shit like that, that's huge to me. Like, that is the biggest sort of positive sign that someone is a legitimately good mic worker, is if they can carry their own solo talking segment and not have the crowd lose interest. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I completely agree with you on that. And I feel like Miz and later Big Cass, we're just really going to like start unpacking here in a moment, absolutely killed it. I loved it. I'm telling you.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, hell, you brought him up. So let's just start talking about Big Cass comes out instead of Daniel Bryan. And he's wearing a 3-piece suit. He's full blown, done to the nines. And he tells Miz, Daniel Bryan isn't going to be coming out, so why don't you just sit down? And I love too that he like tries taking over immediately, because this is the Miz's show. But at the same time, Cass comes in and he's like, oh, why don't you sit down? Like, he's telling the Miz what to do on the Miz's show. I love that. There's just like, it's a subtle thing that makes Cass look like he's really like trying to assert his dominance over the Miz, which is something that dickhead guys do a lot. And not just guys. I'm sure there are a lot of dickhead women that do it too. But the sort of stereotype is dickhead guys trying to assert their dominance like that a lot. And that's the perfect character for Big Cass, which then, I mean, he gets to cut the promo of his fucking life. And really, he probably, I mean, it wasn't technically a solo segment because Miz was there, but he outshined the Miz once the Miz kind of sort of found a way to pass the baton over to Cass. I feel like Cass shone brighter than the Miz here. And even though there were some what chants at the very end of his promo, he basically did have like a 5-minute solo promo by himself without much of the Miz's help at all. So massive props to Cass. He cut the promo of his fucking life on SmackDown tonight. And the first like 15 minutes of SmackDown was just promo greatness.
Did you say everything you wanted to say? Because now I'm about to run. Just give all my opinions on this if you're cool with that. You good?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I fucking love this. To me, regardless of how people may feel about Cass, his personal politics or this or that, I think Cass understood on a fundamental level. Like you used the term, right? Cut the promo of his life. I think that's because he had to. You're coming back from an injury. Enzo's marred in scandal, and he's been gone from the company for a while now. But you really want to be seen as a solo act. You don't want it to be Big Cass, who used to run with Enzo. You want to be Colin freaking Cassidy, main event player. And he goes out and he cuts a promo. And, after really marinating on it, because I had time when we were talking about Raw and time when you were talking to really think about it. You know what I think really makes this promo a winner for me? Despite aside from everything you said in the Discord, which if you guys haven't joined the Discord, $3 a month, check our Patreon, et cetera, because Ashley made some great points there about losing the accent and being articulate and all that stuff. I love that he went a tired narrative and he made it feel fresh again. And what I mean is, here he is, this towering guy, and Brian's a quote-unquote little man. And there's more depth to it than that because Cass relates it back to himself. I hate Brian because he reminds me of how I used to be. And me and him are on the same level when I'm the much bigger deal. We got cleared the same day and nobody said anything to me. It was all Daniel Bryan. Yes, Daniel Bryan. And I think my favorite line in this was when he said, I got to WWE not because I worked bingo halls or the indie scene or Europe or all over the world. I got to the WWE because I'm tall, which, how many times have you said that about projects that Vince loves? I'm educated, and I'm damn good looking, and he owns it. I gotta be honest. Colin Cassidy, who I'm not gonna mince words, used to look like the goofiest motherfucker to me, and that's saying something when he's running with a guy like Enzo. He cleans up damn nice in that suit and that watch. It's believable to me. He could come out in that same suit with the WWE title draped over his shoulder. I wouldn't bat an eye because he looks the part. And here's the thing. You and I, what's been our one big thing, you and I as wrestling fans, we've always kind of cringed when people use the word sport with WWE because we say, ooh, it's not a sport. To me, I've always used two words interchangeably. WWE to me and pro wrestling as a whole is art, and WWE as a whole is theater. And in art and theater, appearance is everything, and he looks the part. And he got that mic tonight, and he showed even more so that he can play the part. So Vince has got to be on cloud fucking nine because he doesn't even need a freaking Cialis right now to get hard. Because when you have Drew McIntyre killing it, and you have Colin Cassidy to a lesser but still impressive degree killing it, and they're both tall, big, jacked guys, right? And everything else, check every box that Vince loves. Like, where's the real estate on Cloud9? Because Vince is buying all of it. He is in his heaven right now.
Point out as well, John.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre, yeah, he's 6'5", but Big Cass, technically I think Big Cass is only actually 6'7", still very tall, big guy. Here's the real zinger, though. Drew McIntyre's 32, Big Cass is 30.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, the age disparity is there, but it's 2 years. And really with McIntyre, like he came back to WWE just in time because I think the best years of his career will go to WWE. And Cass the same way.
I also just wanted to point out that Drew McIntyre, even at 32, is like 11 days younger than Roman Reigns.
Wow. Oh my God.
I love that. Yeah, that's facts. Like Drew McIntyre is technically younger than Roman Reigns, even if it was only like 11 days. Wait a minute. See that Drew McIntyre's it is. Drew McIntyre's birthday is June 6th, 1985.
Wow. Hey, I mean, it was preordained. McIntyre was always the one meant for Roman's spot. Now he's just coming to claim it by force. But to bring it back to Cass and to punctuate the Cass discussion, I loved how he ended the promo.
I didn't even realize he was that young. I honestly thought Cass was already like 30, 31 years old in NXT, and it turns out he's only 30 now.
Yeah, which I think is great, because he's really coming into his own at the right time, because he's really just walking that tightrope now of like, I'm still young, and I'm not quite at my prime, but I'm still getting it together just in time to really give my best years to this company. And I loved his closing line about Bryan, where I'm going to put Bryan back where he belongs, and that's on the shelf, retired, where he can't overshadow me or anyone else ever again. And really, just to reemphasize something that you said earlier, I love too that he wasn't kissing up to The Miz. Like, he is his own man. He doesn't care if you're a fellow heel like he is or a babyface. He wants something, he'll take it. He wants the spotlight on a certain segment, he'll take it. He wants your title, he'll take it. Like, that's the vibe he gives off, and that vibe is money to me. So great job here by Cass for sure.
So I'm glad that you're finished on your points, because I actually just kind of realized the Big Cass character is way more nuanced than we realized, dude.
Well, yeah, because he was even talking about like being bullied because he was small like Bryan, and then he grew and he bullied everybody that bullied him, and they deserved it. But he also said like, "Oh, I deserved it because I was small."
That's what I'm saying right there, though. The "I deserved it," like that to me opens a window into this man's soul. And like, I know it's corny that I even just said that, but still, like, if you think about it, Big Cass is a guy that was picked on and bullied and shit. And that's probably why he hung out with Enzo so much, because he and Enzo were probably getting picked on and bullied together. And Enzo was his only friend when he became the bully and started picking on other people. And Enzo kept him around as defense, basically. But it took Cass over a decade until he turned on Enzo on Monday Night Raw to realize, like, wait a minute, this guy's been just like leeching off of me for my entire life. Fuck this guy. I hate him. And I hate everything that he represents, which is also my childhood. And guess who else is a smaller guy with a beard that looks kind of funny and talks a lot? Daniel Bryan. He's taking out his anger on himself as a kid and Enzo. He's taking all that anger out on Bryan.
Yeah. God damn, man. That's fucking beautiful.
Holy shit, right? Like, he's got like legitimate nuance, even if WWE doesn't recognize it. It's crazy that, like, it's almost like he's like this damaged person. Like, he spends so much time getting bullied and like being taken advantage of that now he feels like he owes a beating to the world.
Yeah, dude, that's the soundbite. I'm not even gonna add anything to that. Let's move on.
How crazy is that, though? Like,
that's crazy. God,
yeah. I love when little things like that are there, even if WWE doesn't necessarily drive those points home. It's just so cool. Anyway, so yeah, Miz TV was great. And then we get right into the Iconics, who have another great, hilarious, amazing promo because they just have all the chemistry in the world. Fucking Peyton mocks Becky Lynch's Irish heritage, and Billy does the theory, just like, oh, it's like she's here, that kind of thing. I love these girls so much. But then they do end up getting interrupted by Becky because we do have a tag match, the Iconics versus Becky Lynch and Asuka, and the Iconics win after Becky and Asuka have a miscommunication, and Peyton uses the ropes for leverage to pin Becky.
Yes, dude. You know what I love about this? Like, besides everything, I love that you can tell that with Billy and Peyton, it means everything for them to be here. Because, like, the energy, the delivery, everything. I'm not saying they didn't have it in NXT, because I believe they genuinely loved NXT and they took it seriously and they were locker room leaders, you know, especially passing down the lockers to Candice. And who else? Was it Dakota? Or it was
yes.
Candice? Yeah, Candice and Dakota Kai. So, like, they love wrestling. And you and I listen to them on Lillian Garcia's podcast. Like, I adore these two. I'm so happy for them. And, you know, I know, like, Cliff loves Becky, but to me, what makes her such a great babyface is that, yeah, she's not always going to win, but she remains undeterred. And I still, and maybe this is just wishful thinking, but WWE, they did earn a good bit of my faith this week. I do still hope that they have big plans for Becky this summer and really just for the remainder of the calendar year. I still want that program with her and Asuka. I do want Becky back in the championship hunt against presumably Carmella, but who even freaking knows how that's all going to shake out. And yeah, so she ate the pin here, but I think Becky will get hers. I really do. And as far as Billy and Peyton getting the win, that's great. You still protect Asuka by having the miscue, which, for as much as I hate that her streak's gone, I will say that this does open up pathways for Asuka to lose where she really should lose. Like, the Iconic should be the priority here, especially when they're teaming. If they're going to lose in singles action, I still have a mad taste about that. But as a tag team, they should not lose for a good bit because they are that focused. They are that synergized. It makes sense. Really can't wait for one or both or however they're going to do it to go after the women's championship, because I want gold around that fucking waist. That was the only atrocity that could never be corrected in NXT. And yeah, dude, they're killing the mic. They're killing in the ring. And I'm so happy for these two women because I know you could just tell how much it means to them, and they're seizing every opportunity. So great on them, dude.
Absolutely. The Iconics are definitely one of my favorite acts in the company right now, and especially on SmackDown. But since we're talking about my favorite acts in the company, we might as well just transition to what we got next. And that was the video package for Andrade Cien Almas.
Dude, now I know I've been giving you the baton a lot, but I really do think I should go first on this, right?
Do it.
My God, yes. Dude, you and I were talking about it, right? And then you were talking Rocket League conversations. You were hoping to bring them up. Well, we're going to have this one because, you know, I freaked the fuck out when last week Zelina and Andrade on WWE's YouTube channel had that like 30-second backstage video. And Andrade did some name dropping, and Zelina said she had a plan. And what were the names that Andrade dropped? I'm not going to list them. I can tell you it was Styles, Nakamura, Bryan. I think Joe was in there, but my main point, main event guys. Wasn't worrying about Jeff Hardy. Wasn't worrying about Shelton Benjamin. Oh, I will say the only quote-unquote mid-card guy that he did mention was Randy Orton, but still multi-time freaking world champion. Like Andrade is gunning for all the top guys. And he has not debuted yet, and they got the video package. And you know what that means? That means they want people to get hyped about Andrade because he's an act worth being hyped about. Oh, my God, dude. I'm so fucking ready for this shit. I mean, I just banged the thing so hard my phone fell. I don't give a shit. I am so fucking ready for Almas to take this fucking place over. If you guys don't understand it yet, I will beat it into everybody's skull until they do understand it. This is my Johnny Mundo in WWE. And anybody to be able to fill their lungs with that rarefied fucking air is a huge fucking deal. And like when I joke around, I'm like, oh no, Andrade from running back. No, I mean, I am frothing at the mouth. Either you give that man a briefcase or a championship, or I will destroy everyone. Like, I am obsessed with this man's success because there is no excuse why he shouldn't succeed. Unless it comes out that he has a shitty fucking attitude, there is no reason this man shouldn't succeed. Because his look is great. Zelina as a valet, thank Christ she's here. Because I am so tired of Paul Heyman. And all he does is talk. And my beast, Brock Lesnar, is... Shut up. Shut up. Because at least Zelina, when she believes her talent, she will make damn sure she will put her body out there to make shit happen. This act is fucking beautiful. And I want them to feud with everyone. I was telling you that even if one of his first feuds is Randy Orton, because you posed to me, well, John, what if your mid-card championship scheme doesn't work out? What if in some crazy universe, Orton gets the title back and maybe that's Andrade's first feud? If Orton gives a shit, and it really does come down to me, to him giving a shit, I feel like those matches could be on par with the matches that Orton had with Christian for the World Heavyweight title. And I told you that verbatim when we were playing Rocket League. Like, this dude, yeah, this dude can give everybody the best matches of their fucking careers, and they should be sinking down to their knees and thanking their ever-loving God, whichever one they pray to, if any at all.
I mean, he's there to do it 3 times with Drew, Johnny, and then most recently Aleister Black.
Yeah. Yeah, like, this dude is a match of the year fucking machine. And I can't wait to see how WWE is going to let him loose. You know what? I am putting all the fucking chips. Look, this is TWitWoW. And one of the things I love about this fucking show, and you know what? I am glad you talked me into this because my God, does it feel this good to be this positive about wrestling and wrestlers? Because nobody...
And not just any wrestling, but actually WWE for once. Holy
Yeah. And like, nobody, save again for Lucha Underground as like an overall entity and Johnny Mundo, of course, nobody makes me feel that peak TWitWoW feel good. I fucking love wrestling. I fucking love being a wrestling fan. I'm going to advertise it on my shirt. You don't like it, you could suck it. Like Andrade, CN, Almas. I am sorry. I normally give you the ball first, but I had to go first because this dude is my fucking everything on WWE programming right now. And anytime he wins something big, we win even bigger because those live reactions are going to be fucking legend status. I promise you. If I am wasting
Johnny Mundo world title, and now we just need Andrade to win one on the main roster.
If I am going to expend my lungs on anything, it isn't going to be preaching sermons of wisdom. No, it is going to be celebrating the greatness of this fucking man. Because if nobody else is going to do it, you and I are going to take up the mantle, and we're going to fucking do it. And WWE better fucking do it with their writing, because we talk about Drew and Cass, and yes, I see all the promise in them, especially Cass too. After that, he really showed me something tonight. But if they're looking for that next biggest pay, you gave me context earlier about the rewatch thing. Let me give you guys something, and I hope Ashley don't get mad at me for quoting you on this, but like it stuck with me. When you and I were talking about Omos and you were really mulling it over, you said, "Man, he really could be the next Eddie." You said that. I think that is a huge fucking deal with the Eddie Guerrero fan that you are. Like, that to me says everything. This man could be the next Ray, could be the next Eddie, could be the next big thing in that market. And
you know what? For some context behind the reason that I said, oh, he could be the next Eddie.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Take it, dude.
Well,
take it.
It's because we were talking about like what made him so great and how like he's this great heel, but at the same time he's also likable. And we were trying to figure out like what made him likable. And I just said, well, because he's charming. And like when I said that word charming, that always brings me back to Eddie, because that was always the big thing with Eddie, is that like, yeah, he can be a total sleazeball, but he's just so damn charming that you just want to cheer for him. You want him to succeed. Andrade's charming as hell too.
Yeah, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely, dude. I am putting all my fucking chips on this man. Give him Orton. Give him Styles. Give him Bryan. Hell, in some convoluted way, find a way to make it work. Give him Joe. Give him Nakamura. And in kind, he will give those men, and I'll even temper it. I'll even tone down a bit, and I will qualify it as WWE. He will give all of those guys their best WWE matches. Easily. Let him loose. Let him loose. That's all I'm going to say about it, because otherwise this will become the Andrade podcast, which wouldn't be the worst thing to happen to the world. But we do have other shit to talk about. So unless you have anything you want to add, let's go. I'm fired up all over again. I'm ready to go 20 more rounds. What we got?
I mean, we might be going about 20 more minutes, but I don't know about rounds. But yeah, I absolutely love your enthusiasm for Andrade, but we will move on. Up next, let's talk about this whole Naomi angle with the Usos. She actually helped via distraction Jimmy Uso defeat Eric Rowan one-on-one. I'm curious if you think that maybe this will translate to her and the Usos turning into like a heel faction, or if she might help them beat the Bludgeon Brothers at Greatest Royal Rumble. I don't know. I'm kind of curious what you think is going to come out of this.
Yeah, I think it's Naomi just trying to give a leg up for, her man and, her brother-in-law, so her guys. Interesting that she would get involved that way, but and see, this is why I hate that this is like on Greatest Royal Rumble, which again, I'm not gonna watch it. Usually you're not gonna watch it either, because we just said glorified house show. But I will be keeping up with the written results, like on an ODQ or some third party site. I don't know. I do think Bludgeon Brothers are gonna retain. So she said I could openly make my predictions there, but who even knows? I don't know if they want to do anything with Naomi and the Usos. I will say it is interesting that they're getting Naomi involved with a male heavy kind of storyline, being the first ever women's battle royal winner. And they're doing that with her rather than going after the title, which I still think Naomi.
You know what else though? I think it's interesting that they might just be trying to recreate the magic that they got out of Miz and Maurice with Naomi and Jimmy Uso, because really maybe their logic is, well, holy shit, the Miz has always been like a certain kind of performer, but when we put Maurice with him, their natural chemistry and his sort of natural presence on the mic just shot through the roof. Well, maybe they think that they can do the same thing for Naomi and Jimmy Uso. You put them together, you let two people that are already comfortable with each other in real life have talking segments. And I noticed a little bit of a spark of that in the backstage locker room segment. Naomi always feels very forced and rehearsed on the mic, but there were a couple of moments during her interaction with Jimmy Uso where it felt very much like a natural conversation that a married couple would have. So I think that they might be trying to recapture that magic, and whether they are or not, they might be actually doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you made that point. I think that's a great point. I'm very curious about where the Usos and Naomi, just as a package, is going to go post Bludgeon Brothers feud, because I don't see them getting the titles back. And honestly, if you were to ask me who would beat the Bludgeon Brothers, I mean, in my fantasy scenario, I have the Bludgeon Brothers holding the titles long enough for War Raiders to get called up, and then they beat them for it. But, that's just me. I highly doubt it'll come to that. I can't really imagine who would beat the Bludgeon Brothers, but that's another story for another time. I did like it, though. I thought it was different. And again, the idea that they're getting Naomi in the mix like this, and notice too that Naomi, what I like about it too, she isn't helpless. She was actually a legitimate part of them winning tonight because she provided the distraction. I really like that she's positioned that way in the story. Now, could she be victimized like later on in the feud? Like if it's not going to end at Greatest Royal Rumble, that's possible. That's entirely possible. But I do like that she's actually like cunning and kind of exhibiting her strength in her own way. So yeah, on the whole, I'll give this a thumbs up. Not the best thing SmackDown did tonight, but still good to me. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it like a thumbs middle, closer to up than down, with really just the wait and see label on it, because I'm really more curious where this is going than like happy about what it's been so far.
Yeah, that's perfectly understandable, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah. So up next, then we got the women's contract signing, and Carmella is literally Commissioner Regal type heel.
Yeah, dude, I want you to take the floor on this. What do you think about Carmella's performance tonight, just as a heel, you know, working the mic and everything?
I love how over the top she is. She's so great. And like, it really does have shades of Commissioner Regal. When was that, John? Was that like
I want to say that was 07, 08, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, I think it was when he like threatened to like shut the show down, and he like had like the backstage people turn the lights out and shit. Like that was absolutely amazing to me. Like that's some next level heel shit. And you've told me before that they were planning on giving him a world title run, but he kind of fucked himself out of that because wellness policy. But still, Carmella doing shit like running the same video package that we've already seen and then doing it again in the same night because she's not happy with the way the crowd responds to it. Like that's some like ace heel shit that we haven't seen in such a long time. And like, another kind of more meta observation is I wonder if this means that the WWE realizes how much that pisses people off, because they still do that shit. Like they'll run a video package 2 or 3 times over the course of a night, or like a replay of a segment 2 or 3 times in the course of a night, if not more. It's almost like they're either fully aware that pisses people off, or they are just completely up their own asses and have no idea that they're complete and total hypocrites for having a heel character do something that they do regularly. You know what I mean?
That's such a great point, dude. I didn't even think about that, man. That's a great point. Yeah.
So Carmella is this amazing heel, and she cuts the heel promo, and she talks about how she's not being properly accepted as the queen, and then as well, not she doesn't say as the queen, but as the top of the division and the champion. And she even points out like, oh, Renee introduced her first. Like, who's heard of the champion being introduced first and stuff like that? I love it. And then she does the video package, and she's not happy with the response. So then she runs it again. And midway through it, running the second time, Charlotte's music hits and she comes out. So Charlotte comes out. And the best part about this segment is that Charlotte didn't say a fucking word. She signed her contract. She wooed. She flipped the table and she left.
Yeah, I really liked Charlotte here. And that's not even me just joking, although I am kind of smirking when I say it. But her, like, not talking and relying more on the body language with the woo. And then when she flips the table over, she, like, kind of, like, wipes her feet. Just kind of showed that Carmella's dirt. I'm like, you know, first of all, Charlotte should be a heel because she's a Flair, and like she still carries all the Flair tendencies. It just feels better when it's a heel. But second, she really needs like a Paul Heyman type mouthpiece with her. God knows I don't want her to be a Heyman girl. I'm not saying that. I want more managers in the product, honestly, because Zelina's been such a
she should have her own Ellsworth. They should turn Charlotte heel. She's going to have to be heel for the WrestleMania 35 match with Ronda anyway. They should turn her heel and give her a male valet.
Yes. Because Charlotte just doing the more like body language stuff, and you and I have already said time and time again, the rest of her packaging and her presentation, spot on, because everybody like believes the hype, it seems like. So really, I think that's the missing piece. But to kind of rewind a little bit, I had to talk about Carmella very quickly. First of all, everything you said about her, 110% agree. I just wanted to add on, I love the energy she's bringing to this. Like, you can tell, at least to me, that Carmella doesn't want to be that footnote type champion. Like, she doesn't want to get overwhelmed by everybody she's sharing a roster with, like Charlotte, like the Iconics, like Asuka, you know, now that she's getting her time in the sun. She wants this to be a memorable reign, and she's speaking with such energy and such conviction when she gets the mic. I'm really digging her reign so far. I was really worried, and I even expressed it on the podcast. I was really worried that once they got rid of Ellsworth, that they really wouldn't give her the time of day with the reign and stuff, but by giving her the mic, by having her do stuff like replaying the video package. It shows that they're making a genuine investment in her. And it's really a great relief to me to see that she can stick the landing without Ellsworth, and she's really making her own reign. I don't know if she's going to beat Charlotte at Backlash. I couldn't even comment on that because we are doing Backlash preview predictions, and you got to wait for that. But I will say I hope she does. I hope this reign continues. I really do. And I think you and I don't think this is a Rocket League thing, but I think you and I did say this in just a more general Skype conversation. I really want Carmella to be that champion where she has no right to be champion given all the talent that surrounds her, but she finds a way to keep it anyway. Because, like, with her look and her delivery and everything, she is that champion personified, and they should milk it for all it's worth until a babyface comes up, even if it's a babyface that she's already beaten, and they just figure out the answer. And when they finally do it, it should draw a worthwhile reaction. I would love if Becky would do it, because, like, for a woman to never turn her back, to never compromise her ideals, and she finally gets it done, like, I think Carmella would be the perfect heel to tell that story. But yeah, I'm just essentially saying that I hope Carmella's in for a long run because, again, she's sharing a locker room with Asuka, Charlotte, at least again in terms of presentation, Becky, the Iconics, and if she keeps finding a way to survive, like, man, the fucking heat. So yeah, I'm rooting for Carmella, and I loved her promo. And yeah, Charlotte did great stuff too. This was really just the best segment that these two could have had, and I'm very happy they had it.
You know what would be really interesting? And this is genuinely me saying, like, this might be the best use of these people.
What's that?
If they gave Carmella absolution.
Ooh, yeah, especially when, you know what, too? I'd like to set it up. We can have Sonya Deville and Sarah Logan coming in Paige's office, expecting to curry up to her immediately and to be handed
No, it would
everything.
be Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Sarah Logan's with the Riot Squad and they're on Rock. See, I got my facts mixed up. I always knew it would happen to me one day. So Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, they're coming up to Paige, currying up to her, you know, wanting to be handed stuff. When Paige gives off the vibe that that's not happening, Sonya and Mandy realize that they're women without a country. They need some backing. Well, what better backing? If we can't go to the GM, we're going to go to the next powerful force as it relates to us, the women's champion. I love that, dude. I think that's a great freaking idea because they still need it. They absolutely still need somebody leading them. And while they get better on the side, they're not ready to be on their own yet. They're not even ready, to me, to be a team together yet because you put the two of them together, you barely get one competent wrestler to me. So I think that's a great use of them for sure.
Yeah, because really, like, my biggest problem with Absolution is that neither one of them is particularly good on the mic, and especially Mandy Rose, who's extremely awkward on the mic. Well, we've been praising the hell out of Carmella for her mic work in recent weeks. So Carmella can talk. And really, I would argue that Carmella right now is a better talker than Paige has pretty much ever been. Would you agree with that, or am I going too far there?
I would agree with that. I feel like Paige, I mean, she had the catchphrase, like, this is my house. But I never really believed Paige as a talker. She was always somebody that's like, okay, you take care of your business in the ring, and that's cool and all, but, like, you know, mic work's important, which is, again, why I want Carmella to be a long-reigning champion, because she has shown now that she can work that mic. There is no reason why she shouldn't be that heel that beats everybody that is just, like, leaps and bounds better than her, but she finds a way to win. So,
but
yeah.
I think it's important, though, that she does cheat to win, and that's another big reason why I think Absolution with her makes sense, because Absolution can help her keep that title. That to me is like the end game of, yeah, like, let's give her, like, we could even debut Absolution on SmackDown because we know they're on SmackDown now. They got shaken up. It was officially announced, but they haven't shown up on the product yet. So we can officially debut them on SmackDown at Backlash or at, well, yeah, it would have to be at Backlash because there are no women at the Greatest Royal Rumble. So at Backlash to help Carmella retain, boom, new 3-woman faction, even if you want to keep the Absolution name, and then babyface Paige can be pissed off at the heel champion Carmella that she took her group and her group's name. Like, this shit writes itself. It's perfect.
Oh, and dude, like, see, I don't know if they would want to, like, shotgun this just to piggyback off of what you're saying. But, and maybe it's just because we've been watching so much progress lately. I would love for Paige to be the Jim Smallman to Carmella's Jimmy Havoc, and she's just committed to getting that title off of Carmella despite her.
Yes, and she keeps on using the Absolution girls like what Havoc does with freaking London Riots. Yes, that is perfect. I want it. Now I'm going to be pissed off if the Absolution girls do anything other than help Carmella stay champion.
And dude, you know what's great? Paige, because I would only use these girls for like one-time appearances anyway. I'm not talking about like big programs, with maybe a few exceptions if I really see the talent in them. Paige has a pipeline of threats for Carmella, because whether you want to go NXT or Mae Young Classic 2's happening down the road, like,
yeah,
Paige could just draw from all these women and be like, okay, Carmella, you beat this one, or try and beat this one. And like, I don't know if that would ever become a conflict of interest.
Let's not forget, even if Paige was the one that did the heel turn that broke the group up, let's not forget all three members of PCB are on SmackDown.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's right. Holy shit. I've just been thinking about Paige with Absolution, but yeah, PCB is together. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Dude, it's crazy how much passion for possibility you and I have right now. I just hope the WWE has even a fraction of the same amount.
Please, if there was any time for them to have a fraction of it, please let this be the time. Please. Oh my God, their product could be so fucking good. Speaking of, what's next? What's our next talking point, bro?
Yeah, we could be coming up here and talking about these shows a hell of a lot more often if they keep being as good as they were this week. Next segment, though, Shelton Benjamin beat Randy Orton. Heel Shelton Benjamin beat Randy Orton. Now, granted, it was thanks to his distraction from Sunil Singh, and it also plays into your idea that Jinder Mahal is going to beat Jeff Hardy on Friday for the U.S. title because Sunil Singh injured Jeff Hardy's knee. But Shelton Benjamin, as a heel, defeated Randy Orton due to that distraction. Is Shelton Benjamin next in line for a mid-card title shot?
He might be. And see, I love that you hand me the baton with that question, because that is the question to ask, and that's the question you should want to ask after something like this. First of all, I love that Orton is in the mid-card when, again, he's like, what, a 14-time world champion? And second of all, I love that Shelton got the win because, like, yeah, after losing to Jeff Hardy, he comes back and he beats Orton. And for my money, Orton is objectively better than Hardy, but that's another debate for another time. And here's the thing, too. Orton is still getting a U.S. championship match at Backlash. Like, he won that number one contenders match. So whether it's Hardy or Mahal, you know, Backlash is going down. Now, I don't know how that's all going to work out. You know, and again, we're going to do Backlash preview predictions, but say hypothetically, right, Orton wins the title. Well, Jeff's got a rematch, and Benjamin just beat him. So you got two guys right there ready to gun for Orton. SmackDown is making an investment in its mid-card scene, and that's exactly where Benjamin, look, to me, and I don't say this to be rude because I don't know if we have any like big-time Benjamin fans in the chat, and I wouldn't blame them if there were, because Benjamin is a gifted athlete, and I loved him in his first like big singles run, but he's picking up right where he left off. He was a mid-card guy predominantly in his first run, and now he's picking up in that same territory, and he really excels. I love that he beat Orton with pay dirt, because at first I thought he was going to beat him with the roll-up of doom, seeing as how we got two wins like that tonight. One with the Iconics, and I'm trying to remember what the other win was. Somebody else got a roll-up for a win that I just kind of chuckled, because I'm like, man, the roll-up's really doing the damage, but Shelton actually got his finisher. And yeah, I love that SmackDown has
Jimmy Uso beating Eric Rowan.
Yeah, you're right. That was it. So I love that SmackDown really is making a solid mid-card scene. And yeah, dude, I was nothing but smiles about this. I thought this was great.
Yeah, absolutely. So Shelton Benjamin is the winner, and also I just want to add, I mean, you are speculating that The Miz is going to be Intercontinental Champion and the only mid-card champion on SmackDown. I don't know, man. This kind of leads me to believe that there's a possibility that we might have a little bit of a shuffle and Orton might actually walk out of Backlash as the U.S. champion, which would also mean then IC title most likely staying on Raw. We'll see.
Right, yeah. Yeah, we will see. But that aside, what do we got next?
Absolutely. We got up next the Sanity vignette. We got a little bit more information here, other than just the fact that it's EY, Killian Dane, and Alexander Wolf. It seems like they might be like calling them Chaos. I don't know, because the thing is, they said Chaos is coming, But then you clearly saw the flash, like it said sanity, and they were talking about sanity, and they even said like the sanity feeds on chaos and shit like that. So it's kind of unclear what they're actually going to be called on the main roster, whether it's going to be sanity or chaos. I'm hoping they're called sanity, and the whole chaos thing is just like a hashtag and a catchphrase that they're going to be using. I don't know.
Did you see Okada's tweet?
No.
Like, cause the WWE when Smackdown was airing the first week, like it was the shakeup episode, and they did that, and it's like, and they said in their tweet, "Chaos is coming to SmackDown." Okada responded, "We're in Japan, actually."
I love you, Okada.
So like Okada jumping right on that, doing what, and because you even said, "Oh, John, they're not going to call him Chaos because Chaos is already a New Japan faction." I think you got that from somebody in our Discord said something or something. So yeah, we all had like the same thought, like, "Oh yeah, Chaos, New Japan," and Okada was like, excuse me, motherfucker. So yeah, I think Hypothesis said this in our chat when I was thinking about contenders for the Bludgeon Brothers. I mean, you've got them right here. Sanity. They're the perfect foil for the Bludgeon Brothers, and they could very easily end their reign. We'll see if WWE has the same kind of conviction. I mean,
that's a really great point. I didn't even think about it, but yeah, I mean, if they do debut as baby faces, that makes the most sense.
Absolutely. So I'm curious what they'll do with Sanity because WWE, I mean, they showed this week, they subverted my expectations quite a few times. Maybe a main roster Sanity will be better than NXT Sanity. Only time will tell. But
I mean, the thing is, without Nikki Cross, I'm fully expecting them to be less annoying at the very least.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you and I already kind of talked. I don't know if they want to make Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane the tag team and Eric Young kind of the singles guy with the backup, or what their alignment is. I mean, obviously Dane being the monster that he is, they may try and make him like a mid-card gatekeeper on SmackDown. I don't know. But like, that's another thing. I could see possibility with Sanity. You got two guys going after tag titles. Maybe one guy goes after the US title. Maybe Eric Young goes after, if he's a babyface, like a heel Shinsuke Nakamura for a one-off for the WWE title, if Nakamura becomes champion at Greatest Royal Rumble, which honestly, that's the one I'm most conflicted about of all the championship matches. That one I'm really, really struggling with, truthfully. But
I can't wait for AJ Styles to come off the top rope for a forearm and Nakamura just shoots his arm up between his legs.
Yes, dude, yes. So I don't know. Like, Sanity is something where you could do a lot with those guys, I feel like. I'm not saying you should or that I want them to, but I feel like in WWE's mind, they could do a lot with these guys. So what they do with them, only time will tell. But that's all I've got to say about that. So what's next?
Yeah, the next point is everything with Brian. He was the thing is, he did say, "Oh, I'm going to be good and recovered for the Greatest Royal Rumble," so that's not a problem. I'm predicting he's going to win the Greatest Royal Rumble, actually. But he does say that he was blindsided, and he's very, very certain about the idea that it was Big Cass that attacked him, and all signs really do point to it being Cass, but they left it open enough that if they wanted to, they could pull the swerve where Cass comes out on like next SmackDown or the one after that and says, you know, "Brian, it wasn't me that attacked you. I just took advantage of the fact that you weren't showing up to talk about you." And then it turns out somebody else did it. I think that's a possibility. But the way that they set it up, Brian has a match with Big Cass at Backlash.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say it now, based on Cass's performance tonight and just knowing who Brian is, that's one of my most anticipated matches on the Backlash card right now. Like, I'm genuinely
honestly, I mean, we're 2 weeks out, so this could change, but as of right now, I think I might be actually picking Big Cass to win that.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything because, again, I know we do preview and predictions. I will say this, though, just to kind of respond to your ambiguity claim that they left it open enough. That could be a way to jumpstart a Joe-Bryan feud. That it was really Joe.
Yes! Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that, but you're so right.
Because there's more I want to say about Joe, but I'm going to wait for the more appropriate venue. This isn't it right now. But yeah, Brian cut a great promo.
Well, the thing is, Joe actually did cut a promo on this show, and that was next. So if you do want to talk about that, this is the right time.
Well, I will say I don't expect him to win the Intercontinental title at Greatest Royal Rumble. As far as his match with Reigns, again, I don't really like calling my shot early because we are doing preview and predictions. But as it stands right now, I don't expect Joe to win. I'll put it to you guys this way. If Reigns has the Universal title, then even if I would want Joe to win, like, not going to happen. If Roman doesn't have the title, I do think it's a bit more open-ended, and I would hope that they'd fall on the side of Joe to give him that little boost of, like, being a big threat on SmackDown because I beat Roman Reigns and now I'm going to beat the rest of you. Like, I would love if they did that. That's all I'm really going to say about it. Solid promo from Joe. I fucking love him. Or if we're talking about people that deserve the world, I do think Joe has just one great world championship reign in him. I know he's on the older end. I think he's 37 now. But you've got guys winning world titles at the older end of the spectrum these days. So there's no reason why. Like, I almost look at him as like a Mark Henry type. Like, yeah, he is a bit older, but I do really think he has that amazing main event run in him. And I hope they pull the trigger on it because I'm just waiting for the magic to happen. I fucking love Joe. I love this promo. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, Joe's great. He is 39, by the way, but still, I mean, like you said, it's that.
Oh, well, 39. I didn't think he was that old. I thought it was 37 last I looked. So, but see, even more so, like, I do think he has that great main event run in him. Just put your foot on the gas. While
I was even going to say, like, it doesn't really matter when you're putting out the quality of work that he is. Like, you could be 45 and I don't even give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Joe's great. Joe's kind of in that category with like Ishii and Suzuki and Mil Muertes and Mark Henry, like you mentioned, where it's just like, this guy transcends age. I don't give a shit how old he is. He's putting out better work than everybody else. Give him everything.
Absolutely. Next.
All right, we get to our main event then. We've got the Club versus Rusev Day and Nakamura. Aiden English does his rap intro and doesn't insult the crowd, which is nice, but they are still teaming with a very clearly heel Nakamura. And speaking of heel Nakamura, he has a new entrance. He has like this cool build-up where people are like getting ready to play song, and then they start, and it's his theme song, but it has lyrics now, but the lyrics are in Japanese, and it's meant to get people to not sing his theme along with him because people in America don't understand the language.
Dude, I already like looked up the theme. I know people have been saying in chat it's already up on WWE's YouTube channel. I don't want to believe that that's the full version because it's only like less than 2 minutes, and I believe that there's got to be a full version that'll come out down the line. I hope. But I fucking love the sound of it. I am going to shatter the replay button playing it, and I'm just gonna be truthful, bro. Like, I knew we were doing this. This match kind of had my attention because AJ and the Club, you know, Gallows and Anderson, they had a great offensive flurry with the frequent tags and everything. And Aiden was getting the shit beat out of him, which was great because that's really where he belongs. I don't know why they made him seem like such a big specialist last week. But really, all I want to fucking talk about is Nakamura. Like, I'm sorry, because you know I love Rusev too. I love Rusev, and I think AJ is a great champion. But Nakamura on this night, master of the fucking universe, dude. This man fucking owns. I love Shinsuke. Honestly, this is the Nakamura I've been waiting for. I've seen a lot of fans. I don't know, but let me ask you, Ashton, because you're always asking like me stuff. Let me ask you. Have you seen a lot of people complain about like Nakamura's work? Like, this isn't the Nakamura I was watching in New Japan, that kind of thing? Because I've been seeing that line of thought a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've seen really, even Dave Meltzer has come out and said like, oh yeah, he must be like really limited by injury or something. Like everyone is saying, oh, Nakamura is limited, or he's not going all out, or he can't go all out, or he's not the same guy that he used to be, or whatever. Like, yeah, that is right now, I would say that is the most common sentiment that I see about Nakamura.
Yeah. And I completely agree with you. And yet I feel like with this heel turn, like, dude, his body language, the way this dude smiles.
Yes.
Like, dude, I remember once, like, I was watching, like, some video essay or something about, like, recapping villains. And I think they got to, like, Alex from Clockwork Orange. And they talked about the smile. Like, you could tell how much he enjoys beating people up in alleys, raping women, doing all this stuff. And when he smiled, you could tell like he's in nirvana. And that's the vibe I get when Nakamura smiles after hitting AJ in the ball.
Do you know what vibe I get from Nakamura when he does that like creepy smile?
What's that?
Jack Nicholson in
The Shining?
There's Johnny. Yeah, The Shining. That's the vibe.
Yeah, dude. And why I love it too. And like, this is going to sound really bad. And I wish I had a better way to put it. But like, given that Nakamura is like a foreign guy, Like, I think this is a different type of xenophobic heat because he's like, oh my God, you know, like this guy, he's just like, he's crazy. He's evil. He's this and that. And they could really play that up. And like you said, they've got the Japanese theme because it's like, fuck you, Americans. You can't sing to my theme. I love it. I think it's working out so well. And as I called AJ in the Discord, which I patted myself on the back, AJ, the goat who can't protect his scrot, Styles, gets low blowed again. Like, dude, if you're not, here's the thing. This is probably going to be the shittiest thing I say all podcasts because this really is victim blaming. But, like, if you're not wearing a cup by now, it's your own fucking fault. Like, you should know that it's coming. Like, seriously, because it's not just like a low blow, like, my fingers just like hitting you really hard. No, he full blown uppercuts that motherfucker. Like, he is going he is coming to kill some sperm, man. Like, I love it. I don't want to give any spoilers because so much can change, and I waffle so much, a lot probably will change. But depending on how they use it, well, actually, no, Andrade is going to probably be my de facto number one on the Smackdown side. But, like, Nakamura, I don't even want to call him a number two. I want to call him 1B. Because I am loving the shit he's doing right now, dude. It is fucking amazing to me.
Dude, I love it, though, because, like, these guys both have, like, a past in Japan. Like, obviously, Andrade he started in CMLL and he was trained in CMLL stuff. But he's a former IWGP Intercontinental Champion, and that was Nakamura's belt.
Yes.
And now it's Suzuki's turn.
Yes. Oh my God, dude. Shinsuke. And dude, when we speak about the smile, and like, see, I was interested more in the story than in the match, because when the match breaks down, Shinsuke, first of all, kicks Luke Gallows in the shin, brings him down, and it's such a petty kick too. Knee to the back of the Chrome Dome, 3 count. That's fucking beautiful. And then when AJ, who can't contain his emotion because Nakamura's gotten to him, starts tackling him, and then Nakamura again with the uppercut to the fucking scrot, like, full on. And then when he's winding up for the knee, because Nakamura, and this is where Nakamura is money, right? Despite like the language barrier, which I actually do think Nakamura's English is good enough for a promo for the record. His body language. This man could tell a fucking novel with just his body. Like, it's amazing to me. And he's going for the Kinshasa, and Carl Anderson takes the bullet. Which that was some Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa shit.
I know, dude. I love, though, that they are, like, doubling down on the club being baby faces now, because the last time these three guys were together, they were such dicks, and they were all about beat up John Cena and all that shit. But, like, they are doubling down. Like, no, they are good guys now. You need to cheer them. You need to like them. And it's so easy, too.
Because when you, and see, Carl Anderson, thank you for existing. Because he gets it, or the writing, I should say, gets it. So maybe I should thank somebody in that writer's room, even if it is Road Dogg. I will say thank you if it was him. Because the idea, and you made such a great point, they are baby faces now. And not only are they baby faces, whether they're heels or faces, they are men with a long and rich history with each other as brothers. They are ride or die. And Carl Anderson doing that, that's showing, not telling. And that's what makes it so good. I don't need Carl Anderson to get on a mic and say, AJ's our brother, we've got his back. Because when you shove him out of the way of a knee to the face, that's showing it. And I love that. And then AJ, for his credit, because I do think AJ's talking has gotten significantly better from his TNA years, make no mistake. But him emoting and going over to Carl and wanting to put an arm over to Carl to protect him. And Nakamura is just looking at Carl all shocked. And he's looking at AJ. Come on. And then he does the thing. Come on. and he knees Carl right in front of AJ, because I thought AJ was going to take the bullet right back, and I think he wanted to, but he couldn't make it to Carl in time, which makes it all the more agonizing. Oh my God, this feud. Like, I didn't even, because here's another thing that I want to say in defense of these two guys. I didn't hate their match at WrestleMania. I feel like if it was on a standard pay-per-view card, it probably would have been match of the night, but when you're dealing with a 7-fucking-hour WrestleMania, like, even things that were good are going to lose their veneer. But, like, my God, I hate that the match is the greatest Royal. In fact, and this is where I say fuck you, WWE, because if I was to watch anything on that show, it would be this match. Because with the narrative that they've built up, my God, Saudi Arabia, you lucky motherfuckers, you are going to get a great freaking match if it gets time, which I'm hoping it. And again, this is a rematch so that's taking place on another card that's going to be 5+ hours. And why? But I'm loving it. I'm loving the story these guys are telling. In fact, so far, it's an early candidate for my feud of the year, personally. Because, I mean, I know Gargano and Ciampa have been doing great stuff. I really didn't care too much for their, what was it? New Orleans matchup. But you and I have still yet to rewatch that show, and I still want to rewatch it with you with the crowd reaction and Morrow's commentary. But I've just been loving this, man. I have been loving Shinsuke. Done giving a fuck, gonna uppercut every motherfucker in the balls until I get what I feel is mine, and that's the WWE Championship. Yes. Watch Shinsuke for life, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Shinsuke's amazing. I'm so glad that we were able to talk about all this stuff tonight. We ended up going for almost 2 hours, but it feels like it's been about 15 minutes. Like,
dude, when the show is good, and like, see, here's the thing. The only reason I was apprehensive for a lot of it, and you were right, like you hit the main one, 5 hours of content. But what I forgot was, and I'll admit, I've gotten really comfortable not reviewing these shows. Like, I will admit that. But one thing I forgot was when the content is good, fuck me, does the time fly.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing, and this is where we almost get into some mental shit. Because I'm just going to lay the cards out here. I have been so conditioned by WWE that the programming is going to be bad. That's why I was grateful that we stopped reviewing it. I forgot how good it can feel to talk about it when it's good. Yeah. That's how bad they beat me down. That tonight it was like, I'm gonna use a phrase from one of my favorite writers, because he writes Black Mirror, Charlie Brooker, because he started doing more optimistic endings to some of his episodes. And he said, most of the time we'll have you fall down a well, and then when you think we're giving you a rope, we'll piss on you. But sometimes we like giving you a cookie. I feel like after WWE pissing on me so much, I finally got a cookie this week.
Yeah.
And it's like, here it is. And now I'm still going to have my mouth open for more piss the following week, most likely. But if this really is the beginning of a new kind of trajectory for the programming, hell, I'll give them the bare fucking minimum, if not the programming as a whole, because there are still going to be those unsavory elements. Babyface Roman Reigns, Nia Jax is champion. Even if you're taking the trajectory with performers that we know can take the ball and score, that's enough to keep me in a good mood and not slip my fucking wrists watching these shows. Like, yes, more of this, please. Please, more of this, please. Are there any concluding remarks that you have about everything?
No, I'm just, really glad that we were able to talk about all this stuff. Glad that you're as enthusiastic as you are. And I'm hoping that WWE, rather than switching out the cookie for the piss, they just keep on giving us little crumbs of cookie.
Yeah, please. I will follow that crumb trail. I will follow that crumb trail all the way to WrestleMania 35. Yep. With no question. You keep giving me this, WrestleMania 35 could be a WrestleMania I'd give a fucking shit about. And for the record, I didn't even hate that much on this past year's WrestleMania, but I know that wasn't WWE flexing. If this is WWE flexing, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, if this is WWE being like, we want people to care about the greatest Royal Rumble more than we want people to care about WrestleMania, then put this much effort into building other shows too. Because if it takes a Saudi Arabia show for you to put this kind of effort into your shows, like, I'm all aboard. Please do more shows in Saudi Arabia, for Christ. No, but seriously, don't do that, because, like, Muslim monarchies are fucked.
Only do that because I've been hearing people say that once WWE has a proven concept in Saudi Arabia, they'll have more negotiating power, and then they'll be able to get women involved on their shows. If you're able to get women involved on your shows, absolutely come back. Fuck it. You know, I know it's probably supporting shady fucking politics, Saudi Arabia. Like, we could go into that, but this isn't a geopolitical podcast.
I mean, here's what I do know about Saudi Arabia: actual monarchy.
Yeah.
They have like an official religion established in the country, and it is Islam. So, yeah, like I'm not a big fan of any country having an official religion. But still, yeah, like it's definitely not the country that I would be targeting if I was WWE, but here we are.
Yeah, it wouldn't be, but you know what? Fuck it. Like, I do want them to work their
They
shit
tried
out.
and failed to break into the Indian market, so fuck it. Go to Saudi Arabia instead.
Yeah, I mean, and they already did. Like, you know about the tryouts, and I even read some of the prospects. Some of them sound genuinely interesting. I hope they translate as well, like, in action as I read about them on paper. But regardless, hey, you have nothing else to say. I've got nothing else to say. I want to give a big thank you one more time to everybody that came out to listen to this. I know it was unexpected. I tried to get the word out as quickly as I could. I know Ashton did too. So for those of you that were here and stayed for the whole thing, thank you. For those of you that even stayed for a good bit but had to go for other reasons, I still love you anyway. Great stuff. And yeah, I don't know if we'll be doing this again. That comes down to WWE. That is all on WWE, whether or not we come up here and we do this again. I would like to if it's this good, because again, I forgot how good it is to actually talk about wrestling passionately with a friend in front of all you guys.
Dude, I know it's easy to forget because of how long it's been, but we get Lucha again in like 7 weeks.
Dude, I know the return of my king, Johnny Mundo.
Yes!
Oh my God, yes. And everybody that's like, oh, but couldn't you just watch him as Johnny Impact? No, I am watching him in his fucking element. And even then, I still watch the highlight videos because it's Johnny Impact. But regardless, this has been the Super Show covering both Raw and SmackDown.
I guess we're not going to do our last segment, brother.
Oh, shit. I totally blanked because I'm in like outro mode. High spots and low shots. I want to get my high spot of the fucking writing team. But low shot, AJ.
Low shot and low blow.
Now that's a 10 out of 10 right there. The GOAT who can't protect his scrot. And until AJ does otherwise, that's his new nickname for me. I'm sticking with it. AJ, not only could you not protect your scrot again, you couldn't protect your comrade. And that is a below the belt shot. So AJ is my low shot easily.
I'm going to make my low shot Jinder Mahal because you talked a lot of shit. You are still not champion, and you lost to somebody that you made fun of and didn't take seriously.
Exactly. And by the way, Foster, I see you're going to bed. Good night. And we're so happy to have you back on a live video too, brother. We love you. But as far as my high spot goes, God, there are so many great people to choose from.
I don't mind, but I hope you don't. Honestly, if you pick them, I don't even give a shit.
Actually, dude, you go first because I don't want to take yours. Who's yours?
Mine's Drew McIntyre.
Excellent. I honestly wasn't even going to pick him anyway. Like he was in the back of my mind, but I didn't want to go with that. So I'm glad you got it out. God, I can't wait for the day when I can give it to Andrade, but not yet. Not yet. You know what, dude? Fuck it. I was so giddy about it. Nakamura. Yes. I loved him tonight.
Yes. And he won, which means Rusev technically has a victory over the champ.
Yes! Rusev Day! Better than you, Aiden. Suck it. So, yeah, your eyes buds Drew. Mine Shinsuke. One with Rusev. Oh, my God. So, I clearly need to do some lines to blow. I'm going to go have some vegetarian brownies, but not before I do an outro to this bitch. This has been the TWitWoW Super Show. This has been TWitWoW, your favorite wrestling podcast and the best wrestling podcast on the web today. So, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. More likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for Raw and SmackDown reviews on YouTube. And that is the only place that we belong, because even coming back, we pick up right where we left off, and that's at the top. All right? So please do that on your way out if you haven't liked the video already. Also, guys, you know standard procedure. Check the description box. All of our TWitWoW-related stuff is in there. The Teespring, we have all kinds of shirts. I mean, I've been all high on my heel horse here. We have Scum Squad merch, Scum Squad t-shirts, Scum Squad mugs, Scum Squad stickers so that you can advertise on your car. Yeah, I'm going to merge lanes. Why? Because I'm a fucking douchebag. Deal
Dude,
with
I
it.
saw our boy Cliff Amal wore his Scum Squad shirt to the PWG Battle of Los Angeles, All-Star Weekend 14 Night 2 on Saturday.
I know, and Cliff, I thank you so much for that. I mean, you made me so proud. I might actually be able to call myself your father in public again and write you back into the will. So thank you, Cliff. You're amazing. We also have other TWitWoW merch, including I'm a TWitWoW guy and a TWitWoW girl, because we all about that gender equality. And a bunch of other merch, so please check the Teespring. The Patreon. Well, I'm going to go hard on the Patreon. We are currently sitting at $118. We dipped just below for progress, and I don't know if that means we're not going to do it for May, but hey, guys, this is the easiest fix, because literally, and this is actually a time when I'm using the word literally appropriately, literally all you have to do, somebody's got to donate $3 and get themselves Discord membership, because we're only down by 2. You could put us over by 1, and we'll still continue with progress. We did chapter 13 today. Next week would be chapter 14, and continuing right along with the Jimmy Havoc title reign. Discord only costs $3 a month for membership. You get to be with me, Ashton, and all the hardcore TWitWoW fans discussing wrestling and really everything. We've got a general tab to discuss things like the Venom trailer that dropped, and Infinity War that's like, I think, it's like only a few days away because it's coming out this Friday. So,
dude, technically, I think Infinity War drops like Thursday night.
Holy shit. So, talking about stuff like that.
So for everyone that likes the MCU and doesn't like pro football and won't be tuning into the draft, go see Infinity War on Thursday night if you can, because like theaters are booked up completely full.
Absolutely. So yeah, guys, join the Discord, because I think it's a great fun spot for all TWitWoW fans. And again, it helps us achieve our goals. And you can achieve yours, because I'm sure, especially for longtime listeners, you think, man, John is such a dick. How can I punish him for it? And Ashton's a cool guy, but him reacting to John's suffering is always fun. What can I do? Well, I'm going to do something a man should never do. I'm going to show you the pain point, because you see, if you stay in the Discord long enough, I always like to use the basic math of 10 months. You accrue $30. You can cash that $30 in for a live reaction to a 3-hour show. And notice I said a 3-hour show. I didn't say what kind of show. So you could be like, oh, John, you know that one promotion you really hate? Yeah. And then put the money down and have me react to it. I mean, you know who proved that? Super Blue proved that with ROH Super Card of Honor. So it can happen, folks. The power is yours. And with how much I'm a heel and how much I would abuse it, you guys can do the same. Or if you love us, which I do think a lot of you love us, maybe not so much after, cheerleading Alexa Bliss tonight, but you could be like, guys, I love this show. I love insert super mega ultra show here. I want you guys to react to it, and we lose our fucking minds because it's better than Coke. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with Coke, but I am. I'm just going with it. It's better than Coke. It's better than drugs, man. I'm telling you, great wrestling. Nothing can beat it. So you can recommend that show as well. The power, like I said, is yours. All you got to do is just wait your time out in the Discord, having fun with the rest of us. You can even share a laugh with me while you're sharpening the knife to put in my back. It's exactly what I would do. Just giving some advice there. So with that said, speaking of Patreon, we do have a Patreon request that we are going to be doing tomorrow. No NXT review tomorrow, and we're going live at 5 p.m. Eastern time with Judgment Day 2009. Did I get that right, Ashton? It is Judgment Day 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's going to be at 5 p.m. tomorrow.
All right. Judgment Day 2009 live reactions, but I don't think a review, because I don't remember Ashton mentioning a review. Should just be live reactions. Just live reactions. Judgment Day 2009 at 5 p.m. EST. And then Thursday is Q&A. I have yet to record the questions, but I know you guys have been sending in questions. I'm probably going to do that at some point tomorrow. So you guys have a very small window to get your Q&A questions in, but it's still there. I know Luna Corva in the Discord asked how many questions, so I know he's probably planning on asking questions. I'm curious what he's going to come up with, because he's a sick son of a bitch, and I love him for it.
Yeah, we actually have 4 questions from him, 3 from this month, and then 1 from last month that we didn't actually get to because I just forgot to write it down.
Okay. I'm very interested to see what those questions are. And yeah, guys, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord. Those are your best mediums to submit Q&A questions. Get those questions in. 4 questions per Q&A. You can divvy them up however you want. If you want both Ashton and mine's perspective on a question, you can have it. If the questions are a bit more nuanced, which I can also advertise this, if you're like, oh, hey, Ashton, what player do you think this team should draft? Which I mentioned that because when we're getting done Q&A, we are going to do live reactions to the NFL draft. So for all of you football fans that also happen to be wrestling fans, stick around for that because Ashton provides next level analysis, and I'm just the layman.
And you did mention, by the way, that we're going live at 6 with Q&A, right?
I didn't get to that, but I was going to get to that. Because we're covering the NFL draft. We are going live with Q&A at 6 p.m. So get your questions in. I think since Foster went to bed, I'm going to message him for when he wakes up. Get your questions in because we are going live earlier because we want to cover the NFL draft. So yeah, if you wanted to ask a question before the draft, Ashton could answer it, and then you could stick around to see how it'll all play out. Oh, did they pick the player that Ashton said that they should pick? If yes, great. If not, well, then we'll talk about it. If you wanted to ask me, because I've been really getting myself on, I plan to get a lot of it on when I'm done my projects, folks. If you have a philosophy question for me, oh, John, what do you think of the metaphysical theories of Spinoza or Plato? I can answer that. I hope to answer that because I'm going to research my fucking ass off, folks. I promise you. I'm tasting freedom. It's right there. You can do that. Or if you just, again, have a general wrestling question. Hey, guys, what do you think about X? And you want to ask both of us, you can do that. It's the beauty of Q&A. Nothing's off the table. I know I've got something that I need to watch because Brandon asked me like an Elijah Witt question. You know, he usually likes asking those. Nothing's off the table. So use your imagination. Give us your best shot. We'll see you Thursday at 6 for that. But tomorrow, again, 5 p.m., Judgment Day 2009, live reactions. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we don't have anything. So that's all I can think of. And that's all I'm going to plug for right now. So, guys, until then, tune in and peace out.